throughout throughout the presentation, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll get to them at the very, very end. And just as a heads up, we are recording this session so that anyone that's missed it can watch it on their own time. So if you're a little scared of being recorded, feel free to take your camera off. No judgment here. So a little bit of about what we're all about. We're named after and founded by the lawyer and civil rights activist Lenny Zakem, who was the head of the Anti-Defamation League here in New England. He was a big believer in building bridges between people and communities, which is why there's a big bridge named after him. He started this fund as a way to redirect money intended to honor him to small grassroots nonprofits that didn't really get a lot of attention from bigger philanthropic players. So our mission is that we truly believe that real change and leadership comes from those who are impacted by the issues. Our work is to uplift the leadership in impacted communities and make sure that they're the ones defining the problem and leading the solution. So we have 7 funding areas. Our focus is funding social, racial, and economic justice, which for us spans these 7 different areas. I like to say we fund everything under the sun, but we do try to keep it under these 7 topics. So we've been around a while. We've been given around 12 million to 400 nonprofits in Eastern Massachusetts, but we also go as south as New Bedford and as north as Lawrence. And as of last year, we also gave to folks in Western Massachusetts. We currently have 60 partners in our portfolio, and around 10 to 15 roll off every year that we try to fill with every grant cycle. So much like many of you, we're a small but mighty team that wears many different hats. We have Allison, our ED, Carolyn, who's also on here, who we just brought on for development, and myself. And this year, we're also lucky enough to have 2 interns with us. And our inboxes are always open if you ever need support. So what does partnering with us look like? Everything you really need to know about our grants is in our grant guidelines that you can find on our website, but I'll summarize it a little bit here. Our grant awards range from about 1,000 to 20K, with the average really being around 7 to 10K, depending on your initial budget. And when you're with us for 5 years, barring any significant changes to your organization. At the end of every grant year, you'll turn in a very short end-year report, which will function as that renewal application for the next year. And your grant grows with you as your organization grows. So let's say, the first year you're with us, you get 7,000 in grant monies. The next year you might get 10,000. The year after that, you might get 15, and so on and so forth. It all really depends on your growth. All of our grants are also general operating because we trust that you know what to do with it. You're the experts in your field, so we're not going to try and tell you what to do with it. The only real limitations we have on our grants are that we don't fund one-time projects or individual requests. And so a partnership with us isn't just a check. We also like to provide a more holistic approach to supporting our grassroots organizations and their leaders. We provide technical assistance in the form of seminars, workshops, and an all-day institute. These seminars and workshops are focused on a particular skill, such as employment law, grant writing, financial documentation, storytelling, year-end appeals, things that are very specific. We know not everyone has the opportunity or capacity or time to get a master's in nonprofit management, so we like to bring those skills to you. The All Day Institute topic differs every year and focuses more broadly on specific subjects like fundraising, strategic planning, and board governance. And this year, we also launched our office hour program where you can sign up for an hour with Deborah Seidel, who is a seasoned ED, nonprofit ED, and get guidance on any nonprofit management issue, big or small. And just because you get signed up for an hour doesn't mean you can't sign up again. A lot of people who come to the office hours are often repeats. So again, if you ever have an issue, feel free to sign up for those office hours. We also provide our grantee partners with pro bono legal services. We'll match you with a lawyer to give you guidance on small things like bylaws, issues with your 501c3, trademarking, or if you want to transition to an LLC. LSDF also offers its staff and its board to advise you on issues. So you can always call me up if you ever need any assistance or support or guidance or a connection. And if I can't help you, Allison can, Carolyn can, our board can. So we're always open to really actually being a partner with you as you go on your nonprofit journey. And finally, we hold multiple networking events throughout the year to expand your personal networks and initiate collaborations. And even if you graduate from us, whether you graduate from us in 3 years or the full 5 years, these will always be available to you 10, 20, 30 years from now. So there is some obligations when you are a partner with us. We try not to be a burdensome funder, but we do, ask that you meet these obligations to just have this effective partnership. So one is that every year you do have to attend 5 events, including the mandatory award ceremony institute. Events can also include the seminars, the institute, the office hours. Our most successful partners are the ones that engage with us as much as possible. We endeavor to make each offering useful and accessible to you as possible. And they also all double as networking events as well. We ask that if you ever struggle with something, come to us. We'll never hold it against you. We do our best to connect you to someone who can help. Additionally, midway through your 5-year tenure with us, you might receive a challenge grant added to or replace your annual grant, depending on your ability. With this, you'll take what you learn from those seminars and leverage the LZF name and reputation to kind of grow your donor base. We match every dollar you fundraise up to the award amount. And toward the end of the year, we release a report for you to fill out, which helps us see how we're supporting you and what we can do to improve. Finally, we ask that you acknowledge us on your website if you have one, should you receive a grant from us. And I know this might all seem like a lot, but a partnership with us leads to this sort of invisible seal of approval for bigger foundations to pick you up and open up more opportunities for you down the line. Really engaging with us also as a partner keeps you at the forefront of our mind when inevitably we get a bigger funder who calls us up and say, hey, I want to fund this kind of organization doing this kind of work in this area. When you partner with us, you're in the front of our mind, and we can say this person at this organization definitely should get your money. So our typical grantee partner, we're known to fund those who aren't typically funded or looked at by larger foundations. These larger foundations are looking for established nonprofits. We tend to look at the more startup end of the nonprofit cycle. Our sweet spot in terms of applicant is a newish leader who founded the organization or recently taken over leadership of an older organization. These leaders come from the communities they serve and govern with relatively lower budgets. We do have some restrictions on who can apply, such as a maximum budget of $350,000, and you must be located within and primarily serving a Massachusetts-based population. Again, we really like those who are really engaged, who are really invested in improving their leadership skills, their nonprofit management skills, and just their organization's capacity in general. Again, we're keeping that invisible seal of approval in mind when those bigger foundations look to us on who to fund next. So a little bit about the application. The cover page is pretty straightforward, pretty basic. Contact information, geographics, your social media handles if you have any. And we might ask you some questions about your fiscal sponsorship or if you have a parent organization. The larger part of our application is really the narrative and the budget piece. We try not to make it too burdensome, but it is the larger part of our application. So we have a relatively short narrative followed by your financial information, and that really just looks at the structure of your staff and leadership. And, just to be transparent about our timeline and our process. Our applications close in September, and that's when we gather all the applications and distribute them to our Community Investments Committee. And that's a review committee comprised of 20 to 30 readers. That's a mix of staff, board, and external members of the communities that are impacted or adjacent to your work. Each application is closely read by 3 to 4 people in this committee who will act as advocates during a large meeting in October to determine who moves on to site visits. During site visits, we start a relationship off by interviewing each other and filling out whether or not we're a good partnership for each other. And then we all come back together in January after those site visits to decide who to partner with that year. And then all our partners, current, former, meet during our award ceremony in February. And just a note, you'll always be notified every step of the way as to whether or not you've moved on or have not been selected. We will not ghost you. We won't give you the runaround. We will tell you directly that, hey, you weren't selected this year. And we always welcome, you to call a meeting with us to have feedback. Do not let not being selected this particular year stop you from keeping the relationship going. Get those feedback meetings, keep us updated on what you're doing. Just because you weren't selected this year doesn't mean you might not get selected the next year or the year after that. Many of our grantee partners applied to us multiple times before getting selected. So, don't let any kind of decline deter you from keeping the partnership going. And so that is it for the info session. Are there any big questions that I can answer? Feel free to take yourself off mic.